Hello everyone! So, a lot of people have asked me how I made this scene in Unity, so I thought I would do a breakdown for it. And so yeah, I'm just gonna try to show a bit how I made those particles and the scene. So yeah, let's get started. So first of all, I have a lot of post-process, so let's see how it looks like once I deactivate them. So, first of all, the sun shafts, they don't really matter much, really. Just at some points, it adds some trails from the lights, but that's really very tiny effect. And I have some noise and scratches here to add a little, well, noise to the scene. Then I have fisheye. I just use that to make the scene a bit wider. That's really all I wanted that for. And then I have my post-process, actual post-process here. Oops. So yeah. Once I do not have any post-process, well, it's not so good anymore. But well, I mean, it's still looking like it's still a bit correct. Then if I deactivate all the lights, well, it looks a lot worse. Of course, the particles don't really show anymore because there's no lights, and then if I deactivate everything, well, that's literally all I have. Those are just the meshes, and well, I guess this still shows the lights for some reason. But yeah, so I have the little tower here with just, well, cylinders and boxes, and that's it. And then I have, well, two terrains. I wanted to make just one, but I ended up painting the first one, and then I was a bit out of space, so I just added another one here just to add a little, well, something in the background. And so yeah, so I have this mesh here. Let's reactivate this. So this mesh is just, well, just a plane, really. It's just a simple plane, but with how do I say that? It's just multiple textures which I have combined here. They are panning alongside the mesh and modifying the vertex offset of it. So let me just show you the shader here. Well, the shader, well, it's actually very simple. It's just a bunch of textures here that multiply differently, and each of them apply a color to this, and then I just mix them together and they just multiply the displacement of the shader. And then I change the tessellation to have a bit more details. And then I use the masks created by all those textures to add a diffuse and an emission, so that in some places it's a lot brighter. That's really it. It's very simple. And so yeah, that's it for the clouds, really. That's all there is to it. Then what else do I have? Well, I have the smoke. The smoke is, well, I mean, it's just smoke, really. That's just a lot and a lot and a lot of particles, really. Let's just reactivate the processing here. Post-process. Okay. And so the smoke here, let's activate those, because that's annoying. Okay. So really, let's take this apart here. Let's put this here. And yeah, so let's take just one at a time. So I have this smoke here. So they're just a bunch of small particles that grow a lot bigger as they go up. And the texture is a very simple one here. Just something I made using the technique I made in my last fire tutorial. I just added a bit more detail to it, but that's it. Yeah, that's really it. So it's just my Admiral shader that I use absolutely everywhere. And just a bit of emissive, a bit less opaque, with a color to it, and then it goes from well, yellow, it goes a bit orange, then it gets into the reds, and in the end it goes a bit darker. As you can see here, it's just ever slightly darker. That's it. And then you add one by one, and here you have just some smoke to add a bit more well, glow to the thing. Then you have, yeah, I didn't name them correctly, I know. It's just something I made like at 4, 5, 6 a.m. in the morning. So yeah. But yeah, here you have some, where is the smoke here? Oh, yeah, here is just some dark clouds, really that's it. It's just a bunch of blobs that are dark. Yep. And behind also, I've always set the other layer, the other in layer to make sure that, well, they appear correctly and don't blink in and out all the time. Here is just restart. Which ones are these? Oh yeah, those ones are just some. But we don't really see them here. Maybe we see them better. Ctrl Z. Yeah, it's those ones here, I think. Yeah, those ones that go out a bit and they are pretty bright, but they are behind the dark clouds. But they add just a bit more detail to the dark clouds. And yeah, that's about the same for all of them. They just have some different properties, and that's about it. So here, if I stop this, you see I just took my tornado thing from one of my art scenes. I just put it inside of it. It seemed to work pretty well, and I just hide it with just a bunch of particles. And so into the game, we can still see that it's moving upwards. Like we see some sharp shapes, but it's hidden, so that we don't see it intersecting with the mesh here because it's hidden by all this well, smoke. So yeah, then I have all those little well, how do you call that? Meteorites, I guess, stuff like that, projectiles coming out of the volcano, and so those are just, well, once again, very simple particles. They just have a trail and they have sub-emitters. So they have the sparks. If I pause this, okay. So you have, well, which one? Okay, this one. Oh, this one here. You have this particle here that has 2 sub-emitters, the sparks, and then the smoke. That's it. That's really it. You have just sparks, you're just spawning a bunch, and really a lot, way too much particles, but just it looks good. A lot of particles from this one, and then they just stay there and they dissipate using a noise. And yeah, I just make them blink a bit so that they appear like they are a bit more powerful and a bit more visible, but that's it. And then there's also a point light. Well, I don't think it's very useful here. I just kept the same setup as I had in my what's the name again? Firestorm art scene, because there, well, the clouds were low enough so that we could see them go through them, and with the light you could see, well, the light go through the cloud. But here, well, it's a bit too high, so we don't really see it. And then you have the smoke, once again, same texture. Just a bunch of it with a color that is a bit darker and doesn't go into full reds, but yeah, that's it. Then you have the lava here. Don't do that, please, in your games. It's very inefficient. It's just I was a bit too lazy to actually paint the lava or make a mesh or whatever. So I just tried to make the lava with trails instead. So as you can see here, you don't see this from the actual game view, unless you really check, but it's just really a bunch of activity, so you can see, I guess. Maybe. If I remove the pre-warm, you see it's just a bunch of trails that have a collision here, and they just follow the terrain. That's it. That's, I guess, the easiest and fastest way to do lava trails in Unity. But yeah, once again, don't do that. It's very inefficient. I have a very good computer, so I can do that. And once again, it's just to make a video, so I mean, it's not much. But if you want this to run real time on low-end machines, nope, don't try that. I mean, trails are good. Collision is there because it works. And if you try like maybe with just 1 or 2 particles, that's fine, but not with that many. And so that's it. And then I just have some sparks here. Let's let's just activate this. Yeah, so just some sparks have the same, they just don't have a thread, but still a collision. And yeah, it's the same for both. What else do I have here? I just have a bunch of lights here and there to add a bit more detail to the overall thing. Then I guess I have this one eye here, where it's just a few particles, really. Oh yeah, the spotlight first. It's just a cone, a mesh, just a cone here that has exactly the same angle and size as the spotlight, as emitting a light. And if I move this around, well, it can go everywhere, and we can see the actual tone of it. And so yeah, the eye itself, let's activate this. Well, so it's just a bunch of particles. I have like, well, I think you can see them here, they're very small. It's just a bunch of sparkles. Oh yeah, those we don't see from afar. I should have removed them, but whatever. I just took the same thing from the Palantir scene. But yeah, just fire. It's just those things here. I have multiple particles of this to add a bit more variety. Then I have the dark eye in the middle. Then I have those here, like I have this one here to add an edge to the eye. Overlay oranges that just to add a bit more glow into just the outside of it. Then I have this thing just to make it blink. I'm not sure if you can see it from a distance. I guess we can see it. It's just very small. And then I have a bigger one to add just some caustics around it. And that's it really. Those are just like meshes they made in Maya. Like here, I don't know if you can see them here. Yeah, it's just this. And you have the UVs just moving outwards or inwards, depending on the speed you use. But yeah, just the UVs go outwards from here. And yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, I've had the lightning things. It's also the same as in the firestorm. It's really just one particle that spawns sometimes with a lightning texture on it. And they have a light and texture animation. And so yeah, when they spawn you can see it pops a light, but yeah, that's it. And really, I think that's all. Yeah, for the cookie here. It's just one of the basic cookies from Unity. When you have a spotlight, you can use, well, what they call a cookie. It's just what image the light will, how do you call that? Project on the ground or whatever. So here, like the base one, this one, flashlight, you can change it with whatever you want. I guess those textures don't work. I think maybe there is a special setup to use. I never done that really, but yeah, I guess you have to set up something special for it to work with custom textures. But yeah, just look up Unity cookies, I'm sure you'll find it on Google. And well, right, that's about it. I just have a wine zone here, just something very simple, so that I have all of my smoke slightly moving a bit more to the left. Where did I set that up? Here, I think I have this external forces, yeah, multiplier 1.5, but I have this smoke here that moves just a bit more to the left, and it's the same for all of the smokes here. I just wanted to have a feeling that, well, the clouds are moving in the way that the plane clouds are moving to. That's it. And yes, I think that's about it really. I just have a bit more particles in the background to add some more details. Most smoke particles have a depth to them. It's just part of my shader here. Just here, opacity depth. And I think that's it. If you have any specific questions, I can try to answer them. But yeah, that's really all. It's like most of my art scenes are just really just a bunch of particles that I spawn, and it's incredibly inefficient. So please do not do that in your games. It's really just for fun for me to experiment with stuff and just making stuff that looks good. But yeah, that's it. Don't try to do that in an actual project, please. So yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, please leave a comment or send me a message. And if you like, please like the video, share, whatever, I don't know. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye bye.